today to talk about MedTech Connect, our partnering system. We are very excited that San Jose is quickly approaching, and we appreciate your time today to walk through the system, and we hope to provide you with some helpful tips and tools to make the best use of your time while you are at the meeting, as well as help you plan before you get there. So just a couple administrative things. We are recording the webinar, so please keep your phone on mute to keep it as quiet as possible, and we'll post the webinar after the recording. We'll post the recording after the webinar, excuse me, and it'll be available if anyone wants to go back and listen to it. And then also as well, we will open up at the end for Q&A, so you can ask questions over at the end of our presentation. You can ask questions over the phone, or either there's a way to type in a question, and Kim Penninger, my colleague on the call, will be able to read those questions aloud, and we can make sure that we address and answer those. So with that, we will go ahead and officially get started. I just wanted to give you the quick rundown of the webinar today and who we have for speaking. So again, my name is Beth Perkins. I'm the Director of Business Development at the MedTech Conference. And we have Dave Bilkowski with Jujima, and he is going to be doing our MedTech Connect demo. Jujima is the company that we partner with for our system. So Dave will be giving us a great demo of that. And then we're going to hear from Chris Yoakum, who is a strategic advisor to Hoya. Chris has been was with the biopharma industry previous to the medtech industry, and he has a lot of experience with partnering, and he is going to just give you some tips and tricks based on his experience and why you should use partnering and how to use it most effectively. And then we'll hear from my colleague Kim Penninger. She is also on the partnering on the business development team with the conference team, and she'll go over some logistical details about MedTech Connect Zone on site, our partnering hours, and then also she will provide some tips for successful partnering as well. So with that, again, we thank you for joining us, and if you just did join us, we will hold all questions to the end. We will have you'll be able to ask them out loud over the phone, or you can just type them in and we'll read the question aloud and answer it. So just a few quick things. I mean, I assume everyone, you're registered for the conference, you're on this webinar, so we won't have to go into too much detail here about what the conference is. But again, we're very excited for San Jose. We're expecting between 2,500 and 2,800 attendees from more than 1,000 companies. We have a great partnering system to help set up one-on-one meetings. We have a very great exhibit hall with a lot of networking opportunities, and as well as a lot of programming for attendees. So there's a lot of things happening at this time, so make sure to plan in advance to plan effectively. This is just a quick graph of who attends. I won't go into detail here, but as you can see, we have great representation from the C-level folks. And then a wide representation of other different titles as well, and same with function. And then just one thing to emphasize, the caliber of people that are there. So these are people that you can reach out to through MedTech Connect and request meetings. And then this is just a list of our sponsors and exhibitors. These are some of the companies that you'll find in the partnering system. Of course, this list isn't exclusive to who you'll find in this partnering system, but these are some of our biggest supporters. And with that, we'll turn it over to Dave with Jujima, and he's going to just give us a second to switch. We're in different locations, so we're going to share. Set it up to share Dave's screen with you, everyone, and he will walk us through using the system.
Hi, everyone. You should be seeing my screen right now. Hopefully you are if I've done this correctly. Let me just double check to make sure. Yeah, okay. Thanks for joining. Dave Bilkowski from Jujima. Essentially, I'm going to give you probably about a 5-10 minute run through of how MedTech Connect works, few helpful hints of how to get yourself started on it and segue right into Chris so he could tell you the benefits of partnering and best practices. First and foremost, after you register, the site's been live for a few weeks. You should have received an email with your username and password, also with links to the mobile apps. If you have not, you can reach out to myself or Kim after the phone call, and we can set everyone up with access for it. Once you click on the login page for the site, it's going to take you to the screen you're seeing. You're going to enter your username and password. I highly suggest while you're doing this, the first point, also with your smart device, might as well download the app for your phone right now or your tablets just so you can be connected while you're at the event. First thing that's going to happen once you log into the system, it's going to take you to what I would call is your social thread. So basically, this is going to be where you're going to be seeing all the people who've been updating their screens, updating any content that they want visible, loading documents, videos. On the mobile app, this is where you're going to see people making posts. You have access to everything here. It's similar to Facebook or Twitter. A lot of people in today's society very social, so should have no issues getting around on here. You could click on any sort of document if you'd like to view the information, become social, like things, follow people if you want to see other information that they've posted or if you want to view their videos. One of the reasons to become social is the more social you are, the more visible you are. So if you're trying to get a message out there for technology or good or service, it's, the more that you're posting about yourself or your company, the more it's going to attract other people to who you are and maybe have them reach out to you as well. Also on the front page here, you have support help. So anytime you need any help, you can email directly right here. We offer some video tutorials, basically setting up your profiles on the desktop or mobile apps. We offer a repository of information over here on the right-hand side. So if you did want to view all of the content, that's where you can view it. This is your home page on the desktop. Everything that you do on your computer is the same on the mobile apps. So they're all one and the same. If you do something on an app, it's going to be updated on your computer. First and foremost, what I would suggest for everyone after they log in is to go to their profile. So on the desktop, you want to click on your picture. That's my ugly mug in the upper left-hand corner. It's going to take you to your profile page. This is where you can update your personal, which it defaults to, or you could click on the number 2. To update your organizational profile. The reason you want to update this is the more visible you are, the more information about yourself, the more someone's more likely to accept a meeting or reach out to you, just as I've mentioned before. Now, what the main features of this are, let's just say they're partnering. You want to view all the attendees from the event, you could click on the attendees or request meeting options. This is going to give you a way to search all the individuals who are doing partnering or their organizations. We default to a company view, but at any point you can view the individuals by just clicking on people. These are the, let's just call them buckets of how people are classified when they've registered. So if you just want to look for service providers, you could do so. If you want to just look for investors, you could simply click on that. We offer multiple search options to narrow down if you have specific focus. So if you're looking for anyone who's, say, an angel investor that has a job title of business development, or maybe you're looking for anyone that's in the clinical stage or particular government, these are all searchable. So if I just said I wanted to look for associations and academics, I can hit search, and out of the individuals attending, 137 people meet my criteria. Well, when you start to scroll down here, you're going to see the individuals. If they've uploaded any social links, you can follow them outside of the system as well. So again, the more robust your profile, the better. Here's Peter. I know what Peter's all about based off of his profile. He's filled out his interests so I could see what he's interested in accomplishing at the event. If he's uploaded any content, I could view all of that. I could take notes on Peter. The one-to-one meeting aspect through this view, if you went to request a meeting with Peter, the way the system's going to work is it's going to first, each one of these are a successive drop-down. So you're first going to see what day are you looking to meet with Peter. After that, you have the option to select a 15 or a 30-minute meeting. Some people like a 30-minute meeting so they can get more detailed on presentations. Others like a 15-minute meeting because it's a quick, let's get to know each other, and then maybe we want to follow up after the conference. So it's really up to you what you're looking to accomplish. After that, if you'd like to kind of filter, you can have the meeting start at a specific time, 8, 8:15, 8:30, or you can go right to time slots if you'd like. These are all mutually available times. So anything that's shown here means that you and Peter are both available. The system's going to assign a location once you go to the other person accepts it, so you do not have to worry about that. If you're an exhibitor, it's going to say, you know, have the meeting at my booth. If not, it's going to give you one of the tables in the partnering zones. The rest works like an email. So you put your subject and your description, and the request would go out to Peter. I'm going to let Chris discuss more about the best practices to getting the most meetings. So I'm going to leave the requesting a meeting at that. This is how you do it on an individual level. At any point, you can send someone a message. It's a secured system. The emails are going to come from a secure email. We're not exposing anyone's contact data. Other tools that you could use to put on your tool belt to help with your meeting, we have a favorites area. Basically, what this allows you to do is lead source. I mean, there's going to be 2,000 plus people in here. You might have a hot list of 50 individuals. You can come in here, add them to your favorite. So far, he's not tagged at all. I could select from a tag that I've set up, one called friend, or I can add a new one, you know, potential lead. I'm going to add that, and I'm going to be able to export all this information later or reach out to those individuals specifically. You'll see a star that's lit up. That just means that I've added Peter as a favorite. I could take notes on Peter. I could print his profile before our one-to-one meeting if I'd like to do so. There is an export option at the top of the page. Some people like to work through an Excel sheet as opposed to making something on the networking platform. We provide both options for you. I want to touch basically on this tool called Matches. Now, if you are on this call and you have not logged in yet, the first thing anyone is going to see the first time they log into either the mobile app or the desktop is this screen. All this is are the different drop-downs that you can search by. The reason that we're defaulting to this and allowing everyone to at least choose one selection is we can match you up with people with similar interests, or individuals can search for you based on what you're interested in. So that's why you're seeing this first and foremost. I'm not going to bother updating my interests, but I could do that at any point. You could save and see all of the people you've matched up with, but based on my settings, I match up with close to 300 people at the event. Maybe I'd like to partner with them. Another thing just to bring to your attention, if you see the mobile app icon, all that means is that individual is using the mobile app. Now, let's talk about meetings a little bit. We've gone through the profile view and how you can request a meeting through here. You have a whole area to manage your meetings. Now, everyone's going to get an email notification if you've received a meeting request. If you log in, you'll see a number also. That means I have 2 requests I have not responded to. Same functionality works with emails. There's also going to be notifications going out on a weekly basis reminding you to respond to meeting requests. Let's go through some of the terminology that we use so it's clear for everyone. Awaiting confirmation is if someone has sent you a meeting request, they want to meet with you and you need to respond to it. Confirmed means that you've accepted a meeting request. Requested are the requests that you have sent to other individuals. So you have your meeting availability here. Briefly, one thing I would suggest right when you log in, if you know you're not going to be available at a certain time, come in here and mark yourself unavailable. That way there's no trying to reschedule meetings throughout your day. Now, when you're also using the agenda option, which we'll get to in a moment, when you add a personal agenda item to your schedule, it asks you, do you want to still be allowed to have one-to-one meetings or not? I personally mark myself that I don't want meetings during this session time. I really want to go to this session, so it marked myself unavailable. Other people will build out a personal agenda but still want to have the most meetings possible, so always say, please keep me available for meetings. That way you have the most opportunity to get your meetings. Now, sending meeting requests. We showed you how to do it through an individual. It's going to work the same way on the mobile app. If you look at individuals, you could just click on request a meeting. If you're doing it through the meeting tool, I just want to bring some clarity here. Maybe you're throwing out a pitch to someone that you want to send the same pitch to 10 people. Basically, you would have this say one-to-one meeting, which it defaults to. I could select the individuals I'm interested in. Again, if you wanted to just filter by your favorites, you could do that if you wanted to. But I selected these 4 people. I'm going to hit the red request meeting now. All this means is I'm going to go through the same process I did before. Each person's going to get this time, 10:30 to 11 o'clock Tuesday. I'm going to send the meeting request out. Right off the bat, it tells me Laura or Lara, if I'm pronouncing that right, is not available because her name's in red. The other 3 are. First person who, this goes out as an individual email, so do not say, you know, dear Isabella, I'd like to meet with you because Chikara and Lamutis both are getting the same request. Sorry about murdering the names. But the first person who goes to accept the meeting request will get that set date and time. The next person who goes to accept it is simply told, hey, I'm no longer available at this time. Here's an available list of times. Select one in the meetings book. So there's no back and forth. It's going to just all be based off of mutual availability. If you were to select this group meeting, same functionality, but everybody is included on that meeting request. So maybe I'm a venture firm and I want to talk about a joint partnership with Olympus and NeuroPace. I'm going to select both of these people. I'm going to go through the same process. They're going to both get the request. So you'd want to personalize that to both of them because they know they're both on it. Some other bells and whistles over here for you. You have your message center. This is just where all your emails are. Everyone understands how emails work, so I'm not going to explain much about this. Works the same way. You can update your settings here if you don't want to get certain emails for things. You can export everything at the end of the day so you can build out your own CRM system. The agenda, you can access it a few different ways, but this is going to allow you to view the full conference agenda, and then you could select the different days, titles, locations, if you want to filter by what you've added to your favorites, if you want to look at what types of audience they're for. Are they for diagnostics, digital health? Is it a company presentation? Is it a networking event? You have all of these filters. We offer our typical view. There's an Outlook view. Any one of these you can add to your schedule. You can check in on the mobile app if you want to say that you're in the session. You can build out your personal schedule on the right, which you can easily email, export, or print. Any one of these are hyperlinks. They basically go to view more information. So if I wanted to view the description on driving growth, which I could see it's in the convention center room, it's going to come in here, give me all the information. Everything's interactive. I could view the speakers, view their profiles through here, have a comment thread on the mobile app during the session if I'd like to do so. All of the speakers are listed on the left. We have interactive floor plans that you can view. If you'd like to view a list of the exhibitors and what booths they're at, you could view so in the company view or the sponsors view. It tells you their booth number, their summary. If you want to view their attendees or communicate with them, you could easily do so through there as well. And then we also have, typical asked questions that are on site. And that essentially, not trying to go too deep into one feature, is how the networking platform works on the desktop. Now again, I would highly suggest downloading the mobile app prior to your travels. It's under MedTech Connect in the app stores. We provide it on the login pages as well. As you can see, Chris Yoakum's telling me I'm doing a good job at the webinar. Makes me feel nice on the phone, so that's great. I'm going to like that. Why wouldn't I like that? Maybe some other people will like that. But essentially, that's how you use the whole system. We even have your whole stats with your meetings here, so if you do need to see what requests are accepted, it's front and center for you. With that said, I'm going to log out just again to show you that by any means, if you're on here, you could scan these QR codes to get the app. These are all interactive. You could click on this. It's going to take you right to Google Play to where it is in the App Store as well. So with that, I'm going to segue over to Chris, who is going to dive a little deeper on the better practices of partnering and how to achieve maximum success while at the event.
Great, Dave. Thanks very much for the technical overview. I know for those of you who maybe have not engaged in partnering before, that might be a lot to digest. But I can assure you, the system is really user friendly. And as Dave pointed out at the very beginning, there's a help button there, and Dave answers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or pretty close to it. When he's not watching, what is it, the Eagles game.
Eagles game, don't talk to
me. So folks, I've been engaged in using these systems, and actually I classify myself as a beta tester and a super user for these systems since going back to all 1999 when the internet was invented and web-based partnering was initiated. And I can tell you, you're really fortunate that AdvaMed is using this system from Jujuma, because as you've probably just gotten a flavor, it really is an all-in-one tool, and it's a great adjunct to making sure that you can be really effective with your time at the AdvaMed MedTech Conference in San Jose. We've all been to enough conferences, and we know that it's a real challenge to juggle our time at those events between going to sessions, symposia, the plenary sessions, networking events. But with the advent of web-based partnering at these meetings, and the growth and really the explosion of the popularity of going to a conference and having some firm meetings on your schedule, it's a critical part of your success. You don't need to go to San Jose and have 100 meetings over 2 days. Well, it's probably can't even. I guess you could do 15-minute meetings and get close to that. But it's extremely helpful to go there and have a set number of meetings with companies and individuals that you share strategic interests with. Let me just, Dave talked about the visibility in the system, and I want to focus on that for just a moment, because these systems are used by several hundred people, and it's really important that when someone clicks on your name or searches on a keyword and your company profile pops up, it's really important that you have your own personal profile in the system, and you also have your company profile in your system. I've had to send several messages to companies that had not posted their profile to ask them, exactly what they're engaged in, because I probably did an internet search and didn't find something on them. So I would encourage you to put your own personal profile in there. Put a picture of yourself in there. It humanizes you and reminds folks that there's a living, breathing person on the other end of that of the meeting. And again, even though the meetings are assigned to specific locations, it's very helpful to have seen a picture of the person that you're going to go with, especially if you've got it on your mobile app. I would encourage you to put in your company profile. Put in keywords that describe your technology and the areas of interest, and make sure that those are up to date. Dave showed you how to load some presentations. If you've got a non-confidential slide deck, it literally takes seconds to upload that. It's no more complicated than uploading your photo onto the system. So I would encourage you to do that. So there's two ways to approach partnering, and that is both proactive and reactive. If you're a big med device company, you can bet that they're going to get 100 or more requests for meetings, because everybody knows who Medtronic is, everybody knows who J&J is, and if you're a small company and you think that your technology would be of interest to those companies, you're going to want to request meetings for those. So you have to think about it from their perspective. If they're getting a couple of hundred meeting requests, how can you make yours stand out? Well, you have to personalize them. Dave showed you how to do group meetings, and he showed you how to send out a message to several people. But one caveat to that process is to be certain that you target your your meeting request to a company and indicate how your product and how your technology aligns with their interests and why you want to meet. People that have used the system can recognize, a blanket or cut and paste email. So I always try to personalize it, look at the company's profile, and indicate the areas where there's an alignment between your technology and theirs. When you do that, you're much more likely to get a positive response and have someone accept your meeting request. As Dave pointed out, you request a meeting, but those meetings don't get scheduled until the company on the other side accepts them. So whether you're meeting with an investor or meeting with with an academic institution, or if you're meeting with another small or mid-sized company, those meeting requests have to be accepted in order to be scheduled, and so I would encourage you to get in the system as soon as you can. We are 2 weeks out from the conference, and as Dave could tell you, this is the peak time of activity. I've been in the system for about 5 weeks now, and I've seen the growth in activity within the system, and I've seen my own meeting requests that have been sitting out there for 3 weeks are starting to get reviewed by people who are just now logging into the system. So it's not too late, but now's a great time to get in there, get your profile in there, and start requesting meetings. Dave talked a little bit about availability. The conference program is also on the website, and I would encourage you to go in and identify sessions that you think are important, because that's another way of getting to meet people. If you're in a session on a specific topic of interest to you, the folks that are in that room are probably going to be people that you'll want to meet. So I would encourage you to go ahead and take a balanced approach to the conference and attend some of the sessions. And then you can go into the system and mark your availability, mark yourself as not being available during those sessions. That said, the more open time slots you have, the greater the chance is that you're going to be able to get a meeting with a company that you're interested in talking to. So there is a balanced approach to it. Beth, let me ask you, have I covered some of the topics that you wanted to cover, or is a couple of things that I could mention?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you did great. And I just want to reiterate Chris's point about being proactive and not just reactive, especially from the company side. And I think Chris can talk a little more about experience he has had when he was previously with AstraZeneca and now as a representative of Hoya. He researches all these companies in advance and sends meeting requests and is able to get a pretty full dance card for the 2 days of partnering. So again, just stressing the importance of being proactive. And Chris, I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I'll mention one more. Yeah, one of the great things I like about the Jujima MedTech Connect system is the fact that you do see all the individuals who are representing a company who are available in the system. So you can actually direct your meeting request, maybe not to the CEO, but maybe to the head of business development, or maybe someone who's involved in technology transfer. And you can direct those meeting requests to the appropriate person. If you've got a technology that you're interested in partnering, you probably don't want to send that to the head of regulatory affairs who's attending AdvaMed. And so that's the benefit of this system and being able to personalize your meeting request to go to the right individual. If you can't tell, if their titles aren't in there but their contacts are there, you can always request that they forward that meeting request to the appropriate person. Hoya has 11 people attending the conference, and they all have a different area of interest. We have corporate venture folks, we have M&A folks, we have technology scouts who are attending, but the companies that are using the system generally are pretty cooperative among their own teams, and they will direct your meeting request to the right person if you choose the wrong one. So don't be afraid of that. Just get in there, start using the system. You've got about 2 weeks to do it, and I would encourage you to download the mobile app, because actually a lot of meetings get scheduled on site as well. If you meet someone, you can, in a session, you can both look at your availability, and you can schedule a meeting, right then and there when you're both available. I think that pretty much does it. This is a really great tool. You should become familiar with it for this meeting and for other meetings in the future, and because this is the way business development is done nowadays, and it's a great enhancement to your conference experience. I'll look forward to seeing everybody out there, and thank you for participating in the webinar today. We've got a pretty good crowd there. Beth, who's next?
Yep, thank you, Chris, so much. We appreciate your time and your helpful and wise comments. Yes. So Kim Pinninger's next. She is my colleague on the conference team. She's going to go over a few logistical things about MedTech Connect, like where the MedTech Connect is on site, etc. And then share some additional tips and tricks that Chris may have covered or may have not covered yet. And then we'll open it up for questions. So Kim, I'll turn it over to you quickly.
Alrighty, thank you, Beth, and thank you to everyone for joining, and especially to Chris and Dave. I work with Dave almost daily now since we're close to the conference, and we're lucky to have such a great team behind us, helping us to put this system on for everyone. So I just want to launch quickly into where you'll find the partnering zone when you're at the conference. We'll have our MedTech Connect zone in the exhibit hall, and you'll see that red box around there. The partnering tables are going to be in that orange hall 3. So you'll find our 100 partnering tables there, where you can have regular partnering meetings from tables 1 to 50. And as we touched on, this system will automatically assign you a table, so you don't need to worry about that. They'll be numbered and easy to find. And you can also see our MedTech Innovator Showcase companies at those tables as well. I just want to show everyone our partnering hours. You can view those here. They're available on our website, and they're also available in the system. I just want to reiterate to everyone that these are the times that the tables in the exhibit hall where I just showed you will be open and available for meetings. You are free to schedule meetings prior to the conference and during the conference dates, but these are the times that you will be able to select those 15 to 30-minute meeting slots while you're on site. So Chris touched on a couple of these, but I just want to make sure that we're reiterating some of the helpful tips that you can use to maximize your time while at the conference and really make the system work for you while you're there to accomplish whatever goals you're coming into the conference with. Chris mentioned this, but it really is so important to make sure that your profile is 100% complete. We have this system to make things faster and easier, and it's just so much better if someone can send a meeting request to you without having to Google search your company, as Chris had to see what they're interested in and what they're looking for. And one way that's really easy to do this is if you have a LinkedIn profile, you can sync that to your LinkedIn page, and it will pre-populate all that information for you. Another tool that's offered via the system is if you've attended our conference in the past and have used MedTech Connect in the past, you are also able to pull in a profile from a previous event. Chris also touched on this, but next up, it's just really important to personalize every meeting request. A descriptive subject line goes a long way. It's, the requests do work like emails, and having in there what you're looking for or what you're hoping to find in the meeting right off the bat is way more helpful than having a request that says something such as meet up at the MedTech Conference or looking forward to seeing you at the MedTech Conference. We see those meeting requests all the time, and I know that it is, when you're trying to get a bunch of requests out, it can be much easier to just send a bunch that say the same thing, but having done a lot of analytics on the back end, I can tell you that the requests that are personalized and detailed are the ones that most often get accepted. You want to be sure that you designate the times that attendees can book meetings with you. As Dave showed you, the system isn't going to show you any time that you've marked yourself unavailable, but you do want to make sure that you go into that update availability feature and make sure that you've marked yourself unavailable. So when someone goes to request a meeting with you, they're not seeing times that you know for a fact you'll be unavailable for meetings. This is just the best way to avoid rescheduling and back and forth, which the system provides that feature so you can avoid having to do that back and forth. Dave also showed you some of the search features that the system provides. These are really helpful in narrowing down your search, and that export to Excel function, I know a lot of people have requested it and a lot of people use that, so you'll want to use these search filters. You are able to save a search, and you're also able to go in and see new attendees that have been added to the system since the last time you logged in. So those are two really helpful ways to just make sure that you're staying up to date on all new potential leads and users that you can meet with. One thing that's really helpful is that favorites tool that Dave showed you, also exportable to Excel. I know that a lot of people who have submitted support requests use this feature to their advantage. It's one of the fastest ways to keep all of your companies that are on your list in one place. And this one really goes hand in hand with downloading the app on site. You really want to make sure that you have that app in hand on the go at the conference. It's the best way to stay organized. We have so much great programming going on, and we have a lot of availability times for meetings. So that app is just going to be your best friend in staying organized on site. As Chris was mentioning, it can be so helpful if you see someone on site and you can both, if you both have the app, set up a meeting right then and there. It's the quickest and fastest way to make sure that you're getting time with the attendees that you need to and want to. It's really helpful for adding sessions on site if you see something on a sign while you're at the conference, or you hear about a session, or you see it in the program. You'll definitely want to add that to your calendar, which is exportable to your Outlook calendar, your iCalendar, or whatever provider you use. You can export all of your sessions and all of your meetings to your personal calendar and have that in your mobile device that way as well. Just a couple tips about system etiquette. We encourage all of our attendees to respond to all meeting requests. This goes into what Chris was saying a little bit about how some of the larger companies who are receiving tons and tons of requests, we know that their time is precious and that their time is often in demand, but we encourage that even our largest companies and our users that have some of the highest titles to even decline meeting requests. It really helps just to let people know that maybe it's not the right time, and it's just from user to user and person at the person conference. It's just a polite way to say, hey, maybe not this year or maybe not at this event, but I'd love to follow up with you. And it's just a personal touch that can be added while you're at the event. And the last thing I'll mention before we open it up for question and answer, you can use the app and the desktop after the conference dates. The meeting functionality will no longer work, but you are free, and we encourage you to use the app and the desktop version to send messages if you feel so inclined. You're also free to refer back to your favorites list if you want to do some follow-ups, maybe when you're on the plane on the way home. You can easily access that favorites list and send messages that way. Or, you know, a lot of people put their contact information. As Dave said, we do not provide any contact information, but a lot of people put their phone number in their profile, and you are free to follow up on those leads that you developed after the conference is over. So with that, I'll just mention quickly that if you need help on site, please visit Dave or myself at the MedTech Connect Help Desk. That'll be located near the partnering zone in the exhibit hall where those tables will be that I showed you. You are free to contact connect@medtechconference.org. That email address also forwards to my email address. If you've submitted a support request in the past couple months, you've probably heard from me. You're welcome to contact me directly if that's easier. And we also have a really helpful MedTech Connect resources page on our website that we encourage everyone to visit. There's some great PDFs there. There's a couple how-to videos on how to update your profile. If you need a brief refresher on how to add a session to your agenda or send a meeting request, those are all available for you in that page. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. Give me one moment here to unmute everybody on the phone, and I'll just open it up briefly. Does anybody on the phone have a question they'd like to ask? Okay, and if there's no questions on the phone, I have just one question here in the chat feature. Natasha asked, is this being recorded and shared afterwards? Yes, we did record this session, and it'll be available on our website as soon as this file is compressed.
Kim, I've already had a couple of messages from the people listening in on the session, and I would just like to offer that that in addition to Dave and yourself, I'm available as well for short chats and conversations about how to get the most out of the system. I know sometimes people are reluctant to ask questions, you know, in a group setting. So as best I can, I'm more than happy to. I'll make my email available, and if necessary, if it's helpful, I can spare 10 or 15 minutes and answer other questions as well.
That's great. Thank you so much, Chris. And that's a great point, too. If anyone would like to reach out to Chris, Dave, or myself directly if you have a question, please feel free.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, why don't we close with just how many are in the system? How many people and companies are in the system? Because it looked like it was a pretty big number to me before when Dave was talking.
That's a great question. Let me pull that up really quickly. I'll have to log in myself.
I mean, it's
top of my head, I'd want to say around 1,600 people so far.
Yeah, and we do add them daily.
I just pulled it up. It is close to 1,600 people and close to 900 companies or organizations.
So if you want to connect with anybody in the medical device world, this is the system to do it.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Again, we are all here for questions and here to help. And we look forward to San Jose in just a little less than 2 weeks. So thanks again for your time and your support. And thank you, Dave and Chris and Kim.
Great job, everyone. We'll see you all in San Jose.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.